wait for you guys to get back in. I'm back, so I'll wait for you guys to get back in. Hi, guys. Okay, thanks again for coming back. Thanks for joining me. Okay, I'm going to wait for a couple more people to come to the chat room. Before we get this started. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for joining me. Okay, let's get this started right away. Okay. Okay, some of these things you're going to see to the side, unfortunately. I just don't have the time to just sit there and flip everything around, okay? So just bear with me and just follow through, okay? Okay, so the first image that you're looking at, these are the areas on my body where there were signals coming off, okay? Unfortunately, let's see if I can flip this. Let's see if I can flip this around. Great, okay? And I'm gonna read to you what it says, okay? So this was a professional body scan, okay? This was a professional body scan. And the areas where you see circled in blue is where I was either A, being hit with electromagnetic weapons, or B, radio frequencies were being emitted from my body, okay? Let me know, can you see the image? And do you see the areas circled in blue? Type it in the chat box. Hello, you guys are there? Type in the chat box and let me know that you can see the image on the screen. Okay, good. Do you see the areas that are circled in blue on the woman? Okay. So there are, let's count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 areas. Let me count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. You have to get it, Jack. You have to get it professionally done. Okay? So 13 areas on my body. Let me read to you what the scans revealed. Okay? Minor notations. Scans were conducted repeatedly at intervals over a period of approximately 1 to 2 hours in order to allow the intermittent signals either being transmitted, that's out of my body, or received in any devices were present in Jones's body. Equipment was tested throughout the appointment to ensure the proper function. Scans were conducted over the entirety of Jones's body and then again after the initial scans, with special focus on points of concern to her, if requested to avoid any scan bias. Jones's person was voluntarily searched and observed for any personal property containing electronic devices, and none were found. She emptied her pockets of all personal property and removed extraneous jewelry and footwear. Donning provided scrub top and athletic shorts. Scan observations of note. Using method standard 1 with Jones lying down, the EMF scan readings varied. Measurements are in the microtesla MT, or I guess micron T. The standard for the room was 0.00-0.01 micron Tesla. Testing on a coffee maker showed 0.31 microtesla, with equipment showing readings within normal limits. Okay? So, no, this is more advanced than that, Adrian. The CC308, I have it. Just follow me with what I'm saying. These are professional scans, okay? These are not scans you buy offline. I have the CC308 Plus. These are professional scans that I had done. Okay? Okay, so we read that already. Okay, so with equipment showing readings within normal limits, testing proceeded. Normal for Jones was 0.00 or 0.01 microtesla, except at the following locations: 0.04 microtesla at the right frontal bone, 0.03 microtesla at the right orbital margin, 0.02-0.04 microtesla at the left supraorbital foramen, 0.02 microtesla at about the ULQ of the abdomen, 0.02 microtesla at about the intermediate cuneiform bone of the left foot, 0.02 microtesla at the occipital bone, that's the eye, 0.02, 0.04 microtesla at the posterolateral occipital bone, 2 microtesla at the left fifth metacarpal and phalanges, dorsal surfaces, 0.02, 0.04 microtesla at the left gluteus maximus, and this is where I have the most problems. Okay, so that's at 0.02 to 0.04, when normal readings should be at 0.00 to 0.01. I'm going up to 0.02 and 0.04. Okay, 0.02 microtesla at the right proximal forearm, 0.02 at the first and second metacarpals and the first phalanges of the at the right popliteal fossa. I'm trying to say it like an American so you'd understand. 0.02 microtesla at the right posterior calcaneus. An image reflecting these points is shown below. So that's what's written up here, and this is what you're seeing down here. 13 areas of my body, radio waves are being emitted. Okay, this is 13 areas. That's the first image. Do you have any questions? Okay, so let's go on to the second image. Okay, and Adrian, I have that device, the CC308 Plus. I have it and I use it. Okay, but what I'm showing you here is professional audits. Okay, professional audits. These are the type of audits that you use in court. Okay, so let's go on to an even more profound and important report. This is a medical report. Okay, so this was done by NYU Langone Radiology. Okay, NYU Langone Radiology. And I'm going to read to you what it says. Okay, procedures. On the upper left here, XR pelvis AP. History, MRI clearance, possible metal in pelvis 1. Let me read that again. History, MRI clearance, possible metal in pelvis 1. The technique they used was single frontal radiograph of the pelvis. Comparison none. The impression, Let me read to you what the impression says. Now, this is a medical report. Minimal amount of metallic debris are projecting over the soft tissue in the right proximal femur, lesser tuberosity, and possibly right superior pubic ramus. I've never been in an accident. What the hell am I doing with metals in my body? Okay. These are not contraindication for MRI imaging. These are not contraindication for MRI imaging. Let's look up the word contraindication and what it means. Okay, in medicine, contraindication is a condition or factor that serves as a reason to withhold a certain medical treatment due to the harm that it would cause the patient. Contraindication is the opposite of indication, which is a reason to use certain treatment. It serves as a reason to withhold a certain medical treatment due to the harm that it would cause the patient. But it's saying these are not that for MRI imaging, meaning that they have clearance to do MRI imaging because it's not going to cause any harm. They're saying it's not contraindication. So the impression from the MRI of my pelvis, which is where I'm having these problems, says, we found metallic debris projecting over the soft tissue in the right proximal femur, lesser tuberosity, and possibly the right superior pubic ramus. And what's interesting, let's look up right femur. Okay, let's look up what that is. Okay. So they found metals here. Okay. They found metals here. Interestingly enough, you can see the metals in my x-rays. But I'm dealing with serious problems on my left side. So I don't know if the metals on my right is what's causing the problems on the left. Okay? So that is what is going on. The medical examination says metallic debris. Metallic debris. And my question is, why do I have metallic debris in any part of my body? Right? And what's interesting, I find this really interesting, metallic debris from metal on metal total hip arthroplasty. Never had any surgeries. Never had any surgeries. Jack, by the way, I have that. It does work, but you can't really take anything like that to court. You could also use a stud finder to find the implants. Okay? But if you seriously want to know if you have implants, you have to get professional audits. And that's why I'm making this video. Okay? So What am I doing with metals in my pelvic area, guys? Huh? What am I doing with metals in my pelvic area? That's number 2. Okay, third picture. This is a heat emission from my sinus, degrees Fahrenheit. This is image number 3. 84-degree Fahrenheit in my sinus area. Okay, why is that? And there are more pictures like that. But now let's go into the forensic evidence for the hacking. So those are just some of the evidence. No. That's why I read the medical reports, ME. When you take these exams, they search you. You can't go into an MRI and you can't go and perform these types of body scans with any sort of tech device on you. You have to remove all of it. You can't have any electronics on or near you because it'll give you a false positive. I hope that answers your question. Let's go into the forensic reports. This is the forensic digital reports. Okay? Why am I doing this? I'm doing this not that I need to prove anything to any of you guys. I'm doing this to show you guys the importance of getting reports, the importance of getting audits, the importance of knowing that you're not insane and this is really happening. Okay? Okay, so let's look at this. This is page, okay, hold on. Sorry, I gotta find the page. Okay, this is page 12, okay? Page 12 of the forensic report, okay? And we're gonna look over some numbers that's concerning here. The numbers that are bold are the ones that are of concern. Sorry, let's find the right page. You see here, this says torrent URLs. Okay? If what would have activated them more, ME? Yes, this was an MRI to find what was going on in my pelvic area that was causing the problems. And what they found in my pelvic area was that my pelvic area had metals. And I was asked, were you ever in an accident? Never been in an accident. So they said, why? The medical doctor said, why do you have metals in your body and you've never been in an accident? Did you ever have surgery? Never had surgery. Okay? It was, I told you the name of the hospital. The name of the hospital, actually the name of the lab, sorry, was NYU Langone. No, why? I'm not gonna put, okay, guys. I have the letterhead, okay? But because under the letterhead, there's personal medical information, I'm not going to take a picture with the letterhead and my personal medical information and make a video on it. Okay? Because you know, under the letterhead, next to it is your personal information. I'm not going to make a video with my personal information and put it online. Okay? So I'm telling you where these audits were done. Okay? But I'm not going to put this information online. Okay, so let's go to page 12. So this is a digital audit. Okay? Oh, sorry. This is the digital audit that was done. This is page 12. Okay? If you look here, it says torrent URLs. Yes, it was. I had an MRI. ME was an MRI. I had CAT scan done. I had MRA done, and I had X-rays. I wouldn't advise anyone to do all of those at once. I'm not gonna write out. I'm not gonna because okay, spirit journey. Yes, I can write it out. Fine, okay, but I'm not really gonna do that now. Okay, I took snapshots of these photos. I emailed it to myself, and I posted it online. I can write it out. I'm not going to sit there and write out like 18 pages. Do you know how many pages of reports I have? I'm not going to do that. So it's either you take the information for what it is or you don't. Let's go back to the page. Torrent URLs. Torrent is Tor browser. Okay? I don't use Tor browser. This is the digital audit of my desktop, of my cell phone, and of my laptop. It says here, Tor URLs on page 12 of the audit. 4, I don't use Tor. So how is it that the digital audit showed that there were 4 Tor browsers, URLs? Do you know what Tor is used for? Does anyone know what Tor is used for? Tor is used to go on the dark web. And when people want to hide their URLs, that's what it's used for. If a hacker is hacking into your phone or your network or your computer, they usually use Tor because they think it can't be traced. But unbeknownst to them, it can. 4 torrent URLs. Okay? I don't use Tor. So how is it possible on a brand new desktop, someone has been remote, it gets worse, these audits, has been using Tor to access my desktop. Okay, let's look at some other. Let's look at some other horrendous information. Under media, okay? Under media, you see pictures. Pictures. I did this audit when I had just purchased this desktop, and this is just the audit for this desktop. Exactly, Jack Smith, because it was the NSA that created Tor. Okay, yes, you get on a watch list just downloading Tor. Yes, you do. Because people go to Tor. Exactly, people go to Tor when they're browsing the dark web. Let's go back to this. So under media, this desktop was 4 months old, and I had hardly used the desktop, barely used it. Pictures, 196,622 photos on the back door of my computer. If you look at the front end of my computer, you would see all the photos I have on my computer, and it's maybe, I don't know, maybe like 100, 200 photos. They found 196,622 photos backdoored into my computer. And I don't know what kind of photos. $196,622. It gets better. On a brand new desktop, not even 4 months old. And I can tell you on my desktop, I have maybe 5 videos. 5 videos. They found 142 videos on the back end of my desktop. It wasn't on the front end of my computer. It was on the back end of my computer. Okay, so let me explain that. I'm going to load up Windows, open my computer, and I know how many videos I have. It's like 6. Because I don't really, I don't really download videos to my computer. I have like 6, maybe 7 videos, and they're presentations. They found 142 videos in my media files on a brand new computer. Okay? Web related, this got cut off, but I'm going to read some things to you. How many times Chrome was downloaded? 43 times. Brand new desktop. Chrome was downloaded 43 times. You'd think after downloading it once, that'll be enough, right? Like if I'm downloading Chrome, all I have to do is download it once. No, it was downloaded 43 times onto my computer on the back end, not the front end. Chrome web history and Chrome web visits, 5,701, and Chrome web visits, 14,144. Now, I use Chrome, okay? But how the hell you think I visited Chrome had 14,144 Chrome web visits? Okay, so that's that. Let's go on to another one. Okay. Okay. This one is, let me find the page for this one. Give me a second. I mean, there's a lot more I can show you, but I just want to show you the most ridiculous ones that they found on a brand new computer. Barely any activity. Okay, so we're looking at, this is page 14 we're looking at now. Yeah, Chrome is Google. Yep. Spirit Journey, yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Very good question. Yes, I can. That's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, this is page 14 we're looking at. And what's really unique about this is that it says here, Internet Explorer in private recovery URLs. If you know me, you know I never use Internet Explorer. No. You guys don't understand. Guys, this is not an antivirus. This is hacking. This is not an antivirus I'm dealing with. This is hacking on the back door of my computer. I'm not talking about antivirus. I'm talking about remote accessing my computer through the network and backdooring into my computer. An antivirus is not going to protect you from that. Malware is not going to protect you from that. Botnets, well, botnets are fucking crazy, but it's hacking. It's live hacking. Okay? So understand what I'm trying to show you. I'm not talking about an antivirus. I already have that. Okay? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about hacking. So understand what I'm trying to show you. Hacking. Dark web hacking. And I'm going to show you this. Okay, so what we're looking at is extracted internet history. Okay? It says here, Internet Explorer 10 and 11 daily, weekly, 189. Internet Explorer 1011, main history 813. I don't use Internet Explorer ever. Safari history. I don't use Safari. 3,516. Okay? Internet Explorer in private, recovery URLs 3. I don't use Internet Explorer, I don't use Safari, and I don't use, again, Internet Explorer in private. Okay? It gets better. Emails and deleted emails in particular are a common form of personal and business communication that often provide important clues or confirm a subject's behavior, intentions, or plans. EML-X files extracted from email 25. Look at this. Outlook webmail inbox is sending me a message from Outlook. But I can tell you today, I never used Outlook. Okay, there's some others, but it's not on here, and I'm going to read you off some others that I found really peculiar. Okay? Now, this was a brand new computer when I had the audits done. Okay? They found 91 Word files on a computer that was brand new. They found, well, the text is one thing. They found 16 PowerPoint documents. 16 PowerPoint documents. Hold on. And, okay, quantity, I'm sorry, 8 PowerPoint visible on device, sorry, 16. And 8 that were deleted. What's interestingly enough is that it was a brand new device and I hadn't even used PowerPoint yet. So I think that's really, really pertinent information for you guys to understand. Okay, let's go deeper into the hacking. This is page 20. Okay, and some of this I'm going to have to read. I'm going to have to read to you. Okay, antivirus, they don't protect you from hackers. I'm telling you right now, it doesn't. You need active web monitoring. Okay, you won't protect, encryption doesn't protect you from hackers. You need active web monitoring. They, with professionals monitoring your computer, but you're going to have to give them access, remote access to your computer, and you don't want to do that. None of those things work against hackers. None. None. Absolutely, positively none. Let's go into the email breach analysis. Okay? So you see here, page 20. This is device 3. This is one of my devices that I had sent in. Oops. Okay. Okay, so the forensic examiner notes that there are 25 installed apps on device 3. Okay, so because I sent in 3 or 4 devices. Okay, they found 25 installed apps. Email breach analysis and dark web monitoring. Because I knew they had hacked into my phone, because everywhere I went, people were relaying back to me stuff that they said. So I knew my body was hacked with implants, and I showed you that. Okay. And I also knew that my phone was hacked. So I needed to get an audit done of my phone, on my laptop, and my desktop. And that's what I did to answer your question, Spirit Journey. Forensic examiner performed preliminary email breach analysis. Listen to this. Client's credentials were compromised during a recent data breach. This is a recent data breach. Client's credentials are currently available for sale on the dark web. When I tell you guys how this works and you don't listen, when people tell you it's space aliens, and I call them space aliens because they're devils. When they tell you it's the man on the moon And they tell you it's this one, and they tell you it's that one, and they tell you it's this one, and it's the sky aliens, and it's this, and it's that, and it's this. And I asked them, did you get audits done? No. So how do you know it's who you think it is? How do you know it's who you think it is? Did you get audits done? Did the audits reveal who did it? Then how do you know it's who you think it is? This is why I'm able to tell you with confidence that it goes from the deep web, which is the back end of corporations via the intranet, to the dark web, to the criminal networks on the dark web, to your internet that they hack, and then they put you on networks, on open networks. I'm telling you how this is done. Then they have you on open networks via your cell phone, via your tablet, anything that has connectivity, and it's an electronic device, including your body if you have implants. They have you on open networks, and that's how they're able to dial into your network and monitor you and follow you. Clients' credentials are currently available for sale on the dark web. Okay? Engineer recommends to review the appropriate categories for verification of authorized deletion activity. Okay? If the user of the device does not recognize or recall deleting, installing, or connecting to or authorizing certain items from and on the devices like the torrent browser, like the 25 installed apps on my device that were that are being used to monitor me and to steal my information. This activity may include remote access and control, malicious software that may send and receive authenticity verification messages, knowledge, intercepting delivery of security system notification, and other types of illegal and unauthorized activity. In order to extract and verify the deleted information, I have to proceed with phase 2. Page 21. Okay. Jason, this is how you catch them. You need professional audits. Okay? That's how you catch them. And I'm making this video, and I want you guys to share this video everywhere. I want you to like this video, I want you to subscribe, and I want you to share this video everywhere. Okay? Share it. So that no one can tell you you're insane. No one can tell you this is not happening. And no one can tell you this is not happening to you. Because you don't need this kind of remote backdoor access onto your phone and your tablet and your desktop, and you don't know what these people are doing, and you're the one who's feeling the weight of the law because they think it's you and it's not you. Let me read what it says. Below are some examples selected by using a combination of client-supplied keywords and our proprietary set of search terms. These samples may not be relevant to the client's case, blah, 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 blah. Sample remote access logs. Forensic examiner identified 335 window event logs responsive to remote desktop service on device number 2. 335 Windows event logs on the remote desktop service. Do you know what that means? Does anyone know what remote desktop means? I'll tell you. When you have a problem with your computer, okay? And you want your computer serviced, you call up Microsoft or whoever, and they tell you, okay, go to this site, download this app, and then turn it on. That gives them access, whether they're in India, they're in China, they're in Hawaii, wherever, to your computer. And then they're able to remotely toggle and troubleshoot and fix your computer. Okay? They found 335 Windows event logs. 335. And I have never given anyone remote access to my computer, my laptop, or my cell phone. But it gets better. It gets better. Okay? Page 23. Page 23. Forensic examiner identified 32 USB devices on device 2. 32 USB devices? 32 USB devices. 32? If client does not recall connecting USB devices to the above extent, there is an ongoing concern of unauthorized activity or physical access to her device. Okay? 32. Okay. Gets better. Page 22. Forensic examiner, this is my favorite. Forensic examiner identified 447 cloud services URLs on device 2. 447. Okay, 447 URLs. On device 2. Cloud services. Now, I use Chrome, which is a cloud service, and I use Windows. But 400 URLs on a brand new computer? No. Okay, let's see what's next in the magic box of madness. Where are we? Okay, let's see what else I wanted to Oh, okay. Forensic examiner identifies 4 pieces of encryption, anti-forensic tools on device number 2. I don't have encryption on device number 2. Okay? Hold on, it gets better. Okay. So my LinkedIn was compromised with the information going on the dark web. My email was compromised with the information going on the dark web. In 4 recent data breaches. Okay. And email, IP addresses, names, address, passwords, all breached. Okay? Data breach information is significant because compromised user data can be misused by hackers. I told you this is a hacking information. By obtaining personal information such as emails, passwords, and other data, intruders can gain access to additional user accounts. This includes gaining access to financial institution accounts, online accounts with sensitive data, email accounts, online healthcare accounts, and other critical data. Emails impacted by data breaches, compromised personal information named in data breaches, and it also shows that my information was being rerouted. Okay, there's a lot more in here. There's a lot more in here. There's a lot more in here that I can show you. Okay, so when they tell you, okay, oops. Okay. Hi. So when they tell you, oh, it's a sky fairy. Oh, it's space aliens. This. And yes, I do call them space aliens. Yes, I call them cheetah hoodies. Yes, I call them lizards. Yes, I call them snakes. I will never stop calling them snakes, lizards, and cheetah hoodies because that's what they are. But when someone tells you it's this one, and it's this one, and it's this one, and it's this one, and it's this one, the first question you need to ask, did you get professional audits done? No. Then how do you know who's doing it? How do you know who's doing it? How do you know who's doing it? Did you get professional audits done? No. How do you know who's doing it? Now let's look at professional audits and the kinds of professional audits you need to have done to prove this kind of stuff. Okay? Oh, I know. Thanks, Jack. Okay. Digital. Let's look at this. Sorry. Okay. Digital. This is for mobile. Yes, they did. That's when they said, Emmy, when they say your credentials, it means your IDs, means your social security, your passport, anything like that, that they can use to sell. Okay, that's what they mean when they say credentials. Okay. Okay, now this is a mobile audit. This is for mobile auditing. But let's look at okay, what is digital forensics and why it's important? It's a process of identifying, preserving, analyzing, and presenting digital evidence in a manner that is legally acceptable in any legal proceedings. The purpose of this well, that's the purpose. Okay, so cybersecurity. Okay. What do you need? Yes, they did, ME. I know exactly who's doing this to me. Okay? You have an IT audit and digital forensics. This is what you need. Okay? This is what you need. I keep saying this. The next type of audit you need is this. I'm not going to go into that right now. ME, I'm not answering that question right now, but I know exactly who's doing this to me. And they're perverts and psychos. The next you need is a TCSM professional, Technology and Counter Surveillance Measures professional. And pastors are involved. Okay? Technology and Counter Surveillance Measures professionals will do a bug sweep of your home to find the hidden cameras in your home. Okay? These are the people who will scan your home and find the hidden cameras in your home, and then they're able to tie out the frequency band and let you know who's doing it and where it's coming from. Okay? Tie it out and let you know where it's coming from. So you know who's doing this to you. Okay? Counter surveillance refers to measures taken to prevent or disrupt surveillance, including electronic eavesdropping, which is what all of you are going through, which is what I'm going through as well. Counter surveillance may include electronic measures such as TSCM bug sweeping, TSCM, Technology Surveillance and Countermeasure Professionals. The process of detecting electronic devices, covert listening devices, and visual surveillance devices. Okay? Okay, so you need a TSCM professional. Okay, ME, I'm going to say this and I'm going to keep saying this. How are you putting together legal cases and you don't have audits? When you go to court, okay, you have to be able to prove your case beyond a reasonable doubt. You cannot just go to court and testify that this is being done to you. You have to prove it. And in order for it to be proven, you need expert testimony. What is expert testimony in a courtroom? These people are leading you astray. Okay? Oh, we're putting legal cases together. These people are leading you astray because they are not telling you what you need to do for yourself in order to have a professional case. It is not just your testimony of them doing this to you. You need expert testimony. Expert testimony is the testimony made by a qualified person about a scientific, technical, or professional issue. This is what you need. ME, you're not listening to what I'm telling you. She's a physicist, okay? Is she scanning you to check to see if you have implants and then doing an audit? Is she tying out the frequencies coming out of your body? She's a physicist. Okay? Is she doing a bug sweep of your home to find the hidden cameras in your home and find the listening devices and find the audio visual devices that are in your home? What testimony is she asking you to submit? Oh, okay. So how are you going to win your case in court, ME? These people are leading you guys down the wrong road and giving you false hope. All they ask you for is an affidavit. So let me ask you a question. Can you win a case like this where there is covert spying? Can you win a case of covert espionage with an affidavit? Emmy, think about what I'm telling you. Do you think you can take an affidavit to court and win your case just on your testimony of a covert spying and harassment? Honestly, where's the evidence that this is actually happening? Where's the expert testimony? Where's the scientific and technical proof? Where's the professional proof? They will throw your case out the window. Okay? Okay? When you go to court, you cannot win a case based upon your testimony. What is the judge going to rule on? Your testimony versus who are you taking to court when you go? Okay? Because you need a defendant and you need a plaintiff. Okay? You're the plaintiff. Emmy, who's the defendant when you go to court? Okay, and whose labs? Is she going to go to labs in the United States, labs outside of the United States? If she goes to labs outside of the United States, then she has to, if you're in the United States, it has to be converted in the United States because you're under American jurisdiction. You said she was going to labs for that. Okay, which labs? Labs in Switzerland, labs in the United States system? You don't know. Okay? I've been saying this for 2 years, and very few are listening to me. And many of the TIs are running to these people that lead them nowhere. They lead them nowhere. They lead them nowhere. Again, if she's going to labs, if you're in the United States, this is American jurisdiction. Okay? So if the labs are in Switzerland or in Germany, you have to convert that to testify in an American court under American jurisdiction. Which means you're going to hire someone in the United States to do it. Now, here's my question to you. So you go to court. She's taking your testimony and you go to court. Who's the defendant? What laws are you using? Who's your defendant, Emmy? So she's taking your case to court. Great. Who's your defendant? You have no audits done. She just took an affidavit. Who's the defendant? Who are you taking to court? You see, these people don't tell you this. And when they don't tell you this, you know what happens to your case when you go to court? You get thrown out. You need irrefutable proof, especially when you're dealing with stuff like this. Okay? You need irrefutable proof. Here's another question. When you go to court, what kind of court are you going to? What kind of court are you going to use? What kind of law are you going to use? Are you going to use criminal law? Are you going to use RICO? Are you going to use biomedical laws? Are you going to use human rights laws? Are you going to use digital laws? What kind of laws are you going to use? And let's say hypothetically you manage to win just using an affidavit, which is not going to happen. Let me ask you another question. What kind of damages are you supposed to get? I'm asking you. Is she telling you these things? What kind of damages are you supposed to get? Is the person supposed to go to jail? If they go to jail, what laws are you going to use to let them go to jail, to ensure that they go to jail? Who's your defendant, by the way? I'm not doing this to deride her or say what she's doing is no good. I am doing this so you think. Stop following these people who are telling you we're taking this to court and they were taking this to court. Who's your defendant? Who are you taking to court? Who are you taking to court? I'm not saying this to get not get your hopes up, but if you're going to court, who are you taking to court? Do you know how many of these cases were thrown out of court? No, I'm asking you a specific question. She is taking your information, and I'm asking you, suing, what kind of law? And she's answered, why are you turning over your information to this person? I'm not saying the person is good or bad. I don't know this person. But if you're going to court, who's the defendant? Who are you suing? Use. Okay, here's my question. You're giving her your information. Good. I'm glad you haven't. You need these questions answered before you give anyone your information. These are very important questions. What laws are you going to? Do you know how many different laws these people break? Listen, let me give you guys some. This is one of the laws they broke. Into your cell phone and your laptop and your computer, they break digital laws. Then you have biomedical laws. Okay? Okay, let me show you. Biomedical laws. This is a whole different category. This is health. Okay? Then you have biomedical laws. If they have implants inside of you, are you going to go sue them under digital law? Are you going to sue them under biomedical laws if you have implants inside of you? Then you have criminal law. Okay? Which is a whole different body of laws. This is another set of laws they break. Okay? Then you have environmental laws, because they break that too. Okay? Then there's stalking and harassment. I can go on and on and on and on. What laws are you going to use? Okay? You have to take, the point I'm trying to make is this. I'm not saying that what she's doing is not noteworthy. I'm not saying that. What I am saying to you is you have to quietly get your professional audits done. You need to know who's on your cell phone, your laptop, and your desktop. You need to know what is the frequency band. If you have implants, what's inside of your body. You need to know who's spying on you inside of your home. Okay? You need to have proof. Okay, let me show you. Let me show you. Like this. What the hell is this square in my hip? What the hell is this square in my hip? Okay, this is evidence. Because any judge that will look at this will say, why is there a square in her hip? Okay? Let's read NYU Langone Medical Center. Okay? This is the right side of my body, even though the right proximal femur lesser tuberosity, I believe, is down here. This is the right side of my body. Listen to what it says. Minimal amount of metallic debris are projecting over the soft tissue. What the hell is this? This is the stuff you need. This is what you need to work on. Okay? This is the type of evidence you need to get, and this is what you need to work on. Okay? This is the type of evidence you need to get, and this is what you need to work on. Okay? Look at this. And look, you can see the square here inside of my body. This is the right side R. And look, you can see the square here. What the hell is this? What is this? Look, right? What the hell is this square? Look. Okay? You can see it as clear as day in the X-ray. Okay? Look. 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 You can see that you still see the square. There it is again. Okay? This is brain MRI. What the hell is this? Jason? Nope, I was never sick as a child. Emmy, I was never sick as a child. Jason, email me and I'll tell you how to go about it. I was never ill as a child. I first started getting ill in 2010 when I started working at the UN. Okay? I had never been sick in my life. Okay? This is what my brain looks like. Does this shit look normal to you? Okay? Does this look normal? No, I lost time when I was 13. I distinctly remember losing time when I was 13. I was 12 or 13, sorry. I don't recall losing time, but something really interesting happened to me, but I don't want to talk about that on here when I was on the UN headquarters. Actually, I don't mind talking about it. I was coming out of the main building. I don't mind talking about it. I was coming out of the main building, okay? So if you know the UN in Manhattan, there's the, okay, let's say you're walking into the compound, there's the library on the left, there's the classic historical UN building in front of you. That is that tall building with the glass windows. And then there's the white building, okay? Right? To the left. So right is the library. In front of you is the classic UN building that you see in all the papers and magazines and blah, blah, blah. And then to the right is the white building, okay? Now flip that around because I was on the compound walking out. And I'm going to tell this story because it needs to be told. So I'm walking and it's freezing cold because the UN is right on the water. I'm like, goodness gracious, it's freezing. I had my jacket on. I was like, Lord, oh my God, it's so cold. So I'm walking with my head on the ground, and all of a sudden, I literally felt like, boom, like I walked into a wall. Meanwhile, I'm outside. There's no walls in front of me. It's like open space. And I'm literally like, I jump and I'm like, what the hell just hit me? And I look around me and I'm like, but there's nothing in front of me. So as I looked up, this happened to me in 2012 when I just started. It was like my second day on the job. As I look up, I see these two really, really short men. I mean, really short. And they were coming out of the white building. Okay. And I'm like, my goodness, these men are unusually short. But what's interesting about the men, because I'm kind of psychic sometimes, is I noticed one of them, he had a very peculiar, distinct walk. And I recognized that walk because the average people don't walk like that. I've only seen that walk with one group of people on the planet. You're either royal, noble, or you're somewhere in that circle. It's a very strange walk, okay? The presidents and prime ministers, they have a very upright walk, their hands to the side, up-level military, they walk just like, oh my God, I'm not even going to go into them. But I've noticed that they all have very distinct way they walk. And I don't know if they do this on purpose or I just observe that. So anyway, so I saw these two really, really short men. And I said to myself, I said, these men are unusually short. So I was like, okay, whatever, it's the UN. So I kept on walking. Okay, meanwhile, I'm on the UN compound now. Okay, headquarters. I took one step. God is my witness. I took one step after I walked into the imaginary wall, and the men were walking towards me. I entered some kind of energy vortex, and this is the first time I'm ever publicly telling this story. I literally felt what do you call these things? There was what do you call these windstorms? Shit, like a tornado, but like an electrical tornado. But the funny thing is, it was pulling out from my diaphragm out of me, like vast amount of electrical current and like the speed of a tornado. And I'm standing there literally in broad daylight in the headquarters at the UN compound. These two and I'm just like, who the hell are these short men walking towards me? One of them, I looked at them and I spiritually read them. And I'm standing there. I can't control what's going on. And I'm literally trying to hold on for dear life And I feel this energy thing just pulling out of me, and I'm just standing there trying to like stand still. And this went on for about 2 minutes. God is my witness. When it stopped, after the 2 men, very short men, passed me, I was never able to sit in front of an electronic device again. That is my story, and I'm sticking to it. That's what happened to me in 2010 when I worked at the UN. Okay? I felt like some energy vortex hit me, a current, like, and it was not an electromagnetic weapon. It's not a directed energy. It was not, because I know directed energy weapons. No, it wasn't. I don't know what this was that hit me on the UN compound. And after that, I have never been the same in front of a computer, laptop, or cell phone ever again. I hope that answers your story. Did I miss time? I don't recall missing time, but I do know after the 2 men passed me, who I said was extremely, really short for human being. I was like, these men, I said, how is it these men are so powerful? I saw the power coming out of them. They were so powerful. And I said, they were so tiny. I said, these men are unusually short. So that's what happened to me in 2010. And after that, that's when I started having these problems with sitting in front of computers, cell phones. And it took me from 2010 till 2018 trying to fix this shit. Okay, that's what happened to me at the UN. There are other stories as well. I don't know what hit me. To this day, all I know is it wasn't a directed energy weapon, because directed energy weapons, I know how they feel, and they feel like shit. This was, I felt, let me tell you the truth. I felt like I don't know. I felt like they were trying to read me, trying to test. Listen, I know this sounds crazy, but whatever. I felt like I was being telepathically communicated with, because I was hearing like the 2 short men who were walking towards me. They were speaking to me, but they weren't really speaking. And I mean, I'm just describing what happened. They were speaking to me, but they weren't really speaking. Then I felt like they wanted to test my power. I mean, this is all telepathically now. So I can't say the 2 men was physically speaking. This is all telepathic. Like, I'm literally hearing them communicating with me. Okay? I'm just telling you what happened. Call it what you want. And the guy who had the upright walk, he walked with his hand clasped behind his back and his shoulders back. Okay? He had his hands behind his back, right on the base of his spine, shoulders back, and he walked like he had power. There was a guy next to him who was whispering stuff in his ear, and the man who walked with his hand behind his back, you can look and tell that he was someone very important, because the power literally came. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell you guys some stories of some crazy stuff that happened to me. Why not? So when he turned the corner coming out of the white building, and the white building is where the people who run the planet, when I was at the UN, this is where the people who run the planet congregate, because they were remodeling the classic UN building, the blue building. They were remodeling that building. So they put all the people who run the planet in the white building, and then everybody else in, different parts, different all over, So when he was coming out of the tall building, he didn't say a word to me. But he looked at me like he knew me. And I looked at this man, and I'm just, all I kept saying in my head, I said, this man is unusually short. That's all I kept saying in my head. I was like, he is unusually short for a man. I said, but what's interesting is that he had this tremendous power around him. Man, listen, I've been all over the world and I have seen all sorts of crazy stuff, but I have never seen, I have seen rich people, poor people, I have spiritual people, non-spiritual people, devils, saints, you name it. He was the first person I ever saw with that amount of power coming out of him. And he did not say a word to me. When he turned the corner, he looked at me directly in my eye. And I'm like, this man is talking to me because I could hear everything he was saying. And then I was hit with a blast of energy. And from that day, I can't sit in front of a computer, cell phone, desktop without all of this craziness going on. That was my UN experience. Now I'll tell you what happened to me at Weill Cornell Medical Institute when they tried to kidnap me in 2016. Okay. I went to Weill Cornell Medical Institute in 2016 with a prescription from my neurologist because I wanted a second opinion. And I said, you know what, let me go to a hospital, see a neurologist, and for them to give me a second opinion at the time when I was having problems. Get to the hospital, they kept me waiting there. For the 90% of the times, no, only when they communicate with me do I have discomfort, and it is annoying as hell. Okay, because I have implants inside of me that are on open networks. Okay? Okay, back to the Weill Cornell Medical Institute craziness. So I go to Weill Cornell Medical Institute and they kept me there for a whole day, waiting. Finally, the nurse says, oh, come, take a nap, have a sleep, and when you wake up, we'll get to see you, we'll get you to see a neurologist. I was like, okay, how come they're being nice all of a sudden? Anyway, so I went to go sit outside and I look up and I see these two police officers. And the police officers look at me, NYPD police officers, and they were both Caucasian males. They look at me and they look at the nurse and then they signal to the nurse with their chin like that one. So I was just like, yeah, whatever. So, my initial reaction was, you should leave. But then I was just thinking, oh, they're just like, oh, because, I don't have any privacy. I'm just thinking they're just like, oh, okay, that's the one they're spying on. So the nurse comes to get me a couple hours later and says, oh yeah, we're going to take you to see the neurologist, and puts me on this stretcher. I look up and I see psychiatric evaluation, emergency psychiatric unit. I'm like, I get up off the bed and I say to the nurse, you're not taking me to the neurologist. I have never told this story publicly, but I'm going to tell it. I saw that nurse change from a human being to a creature I cannot identify. I don't care who believes me. I don't care who doesn't. I saw that nurse standing over me, and she changed from a human being to some kind of creature I cannot identify. She got the strength of 10 men and picked me up. I'm skinny, but I am solid muscle. Okay, I'm skinny, but I am muscular. Okay, you cannot pick me up like that. Okay, I saw that nurse. I don't care who gets pissed. I've been holding these things inside of me for so many years. And you know what? I'm just like, it's high time I just release all of this. She got the strength of 10 men after she turned into a creature from out of space, picked me up from the stretcher like a sack of potatoes, and threw me into the psychiatric hold, slammed the door, and then they started laughing at me and never get out of here. Okay, let me show you something. Oh, that was another experience that I had. Okay, threw me in a psychiatric hold and then said to me, "You will never get out of here." That was another time. Okay, I was kidnapped for 2 days. I have the paperwork here. Oh, get this, it gets better. When they finally decided to let me go, okay, the head psychiatrist, when she discovered that I worked at the UN, she went, this is what she said. So I called up the UN and she goes, I hear her say, get her out of here. She's going to get us in trouble. She comes and tells me, put the phone down. I'm like, why? You refuse to let me go. She goes, I said, put the phone down. We're going to let you go. I said, okay. When I put the phone down, she goes, I'm going to sign you out of here. But we demand that you see a psychiatrist. So I'm like, for what? She goes, because your work was stolen 10 years ago, you need to see a psychiatrist. And the only reason why we're letting you out of here is because you need to see a psychiatrist for your stolen work 10 years ago. I couldn't really curse her out because I was like, I need to get the hell out of here. So when I got out, after being kidnapped for 2 days, I have the paperwork, by the way. I should have snapshot that. After being kidnapped for 2 days, they decided to let me go. I see a psychiatrist for them to work. I needed to see a psychiatrist because they stole my work. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? It's possible. It's very possible. Hold on, let me see if I can find you something. I want to see if I can find it. Okay? I'm gonna show you something. Hopefully I find it. Okay. Hopefully I find it. Ah, found it. Tell me if you can hear this. This was after I escaped. This video, this audio recording, was after I was let out from Weill Cornell Kidnapping Medical Institute. And they threatened me, 5150 me for life in a nut house in upstate New York. Tell me if you can hear. So what about the patient's Bill of Rights?
Yes, and then this is a question you can, and actually, we have patient services at Westchester too.
Okay.
I can contact them for you if you want to speak with them.
Okay, no, that won't be necessary. So again, The psychiatrist made the determination.
At this time, yes, because
okay, even though I had all the supporting proof that I was in physical pain and not mental duress, right?
Correct. So, and you're able to, if you don't agree with the plan of care that the doctors do, you can have that reviewed if you wish.
Okay,
that's something you should speak with the people up there at Westchester, because they would help you navigate that. Okay, great. And my other question to you is, what about the patient's Bill of Rights, which says that I have the right to refuse being treatment or observation, or doesn't the patient Bill of Rights come into play? When I'm telling a doctor that I'm in physical pain, the doctor can't override my physical pain and say it's mental. So how is it possible that they can put someone in a psychiatric ward against their will when they're in physical pain by saying, no, you're not in physical pain, you're mentally unstable? How can they do that? Psychiatric doctors, or I guess you could say doctors, if they feel that this is a safety concern for a patient, and this is just a general a basic concern for a patient, they can involuntarily admit a patient for 72 hours for further workup to ensure that whether or not this patient is safe to be discharged, or do they need further hospitalization for care. So there is a 72-hour period there that, because at this point here in the emergency department, the doctors weren't able to make a complete safe decision on your care. So they are able by law and by the standards to admit someone against their involuntarily because of that reason. Okay. Well, I understand. My final question into the patient's Bill of Rights. Right. When I walk into the hospital, okay, the patient's Bill of Rights states clearly you have the right to refuse even an assessment. Okay, so what I want to know is, I was not taken to the psychiatric. I did not walk into the psychiatric department. I walked in for physical pain, and I had corroborating evidence that my pain was in fact real, and that included a letter from my neurologist which clearly outlined patient is in physical pain. Yes, ma'am. I understand that. So when you came to the emergency department, you were evaluated by the medical doctors on the main side. Your medical evaluation was cleared and was found to be negative. They referred you to psychiatry, who felt that you needed to be admitted to the hospital. Now, I'm not going to be able to discuss, have this dialogue with you, because I'm not the person I'm not the doctor who decided on this. Okay, that's great. But last question. How is it possible for them to make that determination without first, because it is stated very clearly that I have to give informed consent after I was clearly given all diagnosis. I did not see blood, urine, and CT scans were done, but I did not see any evidence from the blood analysis, urine analysis, and I did not even see the CT scan. So how is it possible that a psychiatrist could make this decision without showing me the medical reports in order to corroborate their decision to intern me and, according to yourself, transfer me to Westchester against my will? I understand. But the psychiatry doctors here decided that you were able to make that determination, and that for safety reasons, for further workup, they admitted you involuntarily to the hospital so they could get more information and make sure that the safe care, that the care we provided to you was going to be the safest. And maybe, and so that's why there's a 72-hour window or a period that the doctor admitted the patient to get. We want to get a further workup to ensure that we do the statement. Okay. So that I understand that you don't agree with that, but that is what we're at right now. Okay. I think, when you're up there at Westchester, ask to speak to patient services up there, because they can help you further along with it if you still have questions. And I can contact my colleague up there, just so you have support, and they can help you to understand and see where we're at with the plan of care. Okay, so it's in the record that I'm at Westchester. It's in your records that I'm at Westchester. Yes. Okay, so your records indicate that presently I'm in the Westchester facility. Right. It's one of our facilities. It's a new Presbyterian facility. Thank you so much, Mr. Craig. Have a great day.
And as you know, I am not permanently in a nut house in Westchester. I'm home. And if you video the audio recording after I was released, in his paperwork, he signed my life with in matter of fact, it's two of them. And that video, that audio got cut off. Heard the part about a black woman and started telling me all this stuff about my life. And then she was like, "You were in this hospital before." And I was like, "I've never been in this hospital." She's like, "You're lying." And I'm like, "Who is this woman? I've never been in this hospital." She's like, "You're lying. You're lying." And I'm like, wait, you need to. And what you didn't understand, and I hope you understood, was saying when he said you are in Westchester, was that I was permanently in Westchester. I have never seen the nut house in Westchester, ever, because I got out. You want to know where some people are disappearing to? People are missing, and you want to know where they're disappearing to? Definitely them in mental institutions. Some of them, and where they're putting them, but I'm not gonna go on camera. The audio, no one can hear. Audio is garbling for a few minutes already. Really? Can you hear me? Can you hear over? Let's see. It's now garbled? Oh my goodness. What's going on? Okay, hold on. Oh, wow, unbelievable. Oh, okay. So this is slowing. Well, you know what they do. Okay, let me close out. Okay. Let me close out some of these. Let's see. Close. That was closed. Close. On two. Okay. Okay, I'm closing out some of the other windows. Let me close this. Okay, so we only have, okay, how's this? Of course they're gonna, guys, of course they're gonna do this. Of course. Hold on. Of course they're gonna do this, okay? Of course they're gonna do this. Okay, that video, okay. Do you want to repeat and say, okay, did you hear did you hear the recording? Yes or no? No. Did you hear the recording? Is that a yes? Oh my God. Oh wow. Yeah, they did. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because I'm seeing it like I'm back. You see what I told you guys? Yep. Yep. Okay, good. You heard the recording. Okay. The recording is with Cratty. His last name is Cratty, and he was at Weill Cornell. He was the patient and services administrator for the whole hospital at Weill Cornell Medical Institute. He was the one who signed the papers. He disregarded all my prescriptions from my neurologist, all the reports from the medical doctors. He was, none of that is real. You're nuts. You don't have pain. You're just crazy. Because 2 police officers from the NYPD nurse that turned into a space alien to kidnap me. So he signed away my life. And that recording, he didn't know that I was let out of the hospital. Okay? Of course, you know why they're garbling this again? Truth. You understand? They're garbling the sound. He kidnapped me. Okay? And sectioned me to a Westchester facility in because I went to the hospital complaining about pain. Okay? Of course they're gonna garble this because you want to know why some people listen. Let's look at people who's disappearing. Let's look at something. Okay? Of course. 800,000 children go missing annually, and that's in 2002. Exactly, ME. Exactly. Exactly. 800,000 children go missing since 2002. Let's see the figures for 2018. Oh my God, this is terrible. I knew this woman, and her daughter was kidnapped by the state. Okay, so the numbers are actually going down. Not that I believe it's actually going down, but they're just not reporting it. Okay, so we're looking at about 300,000 here, 2017. Oh, it actually increased to 300,000. No, wait, that was 800,000. No, it decreased. I'm sorry. I knew someone whose daughter was kidnapped by the state. Let me know if you can hear me. And this person, yes, ME, it's illegal. Yes, absolutely illegal. And this person was kidnapped by the state and put into, or I think something happened and they ended up going into the psych ward. And during their time in the psych ward, they encountered hackers and all sorts of people. And she began making Hey, I'm back. Am I back? Looks like I'm back up. Let me see if I'm here. Okay, can you see me? They just shut down. Okay, so I can see me from here, but you can't see me from there. So I'm going to have to shut it down and restart it. Oh, wait. Oh. Guys, you think this? Okay, we're going to use code words. We're using code words. You do not say, look in the chat box. Don't say the word. Okay, does everyone know the word we don't say? Okay, because on this live stream, if we say that word, we get shut down. Okay, we're just doing this so we can have our live stream. Right? We say, just say tea. Code word tea. Okay? Code word tea. This is crazy. Okay? This is crazy. So I had a friend, not really a friend, someone I met, whose daughter ended up in a psych hold, a psychiatric hold. And she was telling me in the psychiatric hold, she met a bunch of people. And one of her, you guys think this is a joke? This is real. Now you see, now you know, right? They shut down my entire Anyway, so she had a friend that was put in a psych hold. No, she had a daughter, who was put in a psych hold. And when she was in the psych hold, she made friends. And she said, wait. Yep. So we're going to use code words. When you're typing certain words, you're going to use code words or code letters. You're not going to say the words so we don't get shut down. Okay, guys? So she discovered when she was in the psych code, she was like, hold on, some of these people in here aren't crazy. Activists, they kidnap them, drop them in the psych ward. Hackers, kidnap them. I'm not an activist, I'm not a hacker. Kidnap them, drop them in the psych ward. Anyone who didn't agree with government policy, like, oh, I don't like this president, and I don't like this president, and I don't like that, drop them in the psych ward. Anyone who was against big corporations, drop them in the psych ward. Anyone who was against things like vaccines, dropped in the psych ward. And they weren't ever getting out. Ever. So their parents think they're missing or they're dead. Her daughter discovered that anyone who didn't like the system, if you don't like war, drop them in the psych ward. They were never getting out. If you don't like pharmaceuticals, dump them in a psych ward. Never getting out. You think this shutting down is a joke? They were kidnapping them and dumping them in psychiatric units. And she discovered, and one guy she befriended, oh, she was young in her 20s, young girl, young in her 20s, and they dumped her in a psych ward, and that's where she discovered anyone who didn't like how evil this world was, dump them in a psych ward. If you complained about police brutality, dump them in a psych ward. If you complained about pharmaceuticals, I don't like pharmaceuticals, psych ward. Yep. She told me. Hackers, yeah. When they let me go from Weill Cornell Kidnapping Institute, okay? They're supposed to be Weill Cornell Medical Institute. I call them Weill Cornell Kidnapping Institute. The psychiatrist said to me, we're letting you out on one condition, that you'll see a psychiatrist for your stolen work 10 years ago. I'm like, you kidnapped me and signed my life away because 2 corporations stole my work 10 years ago? Imagine my shock. Imagine my shock. I'm like, so 2 New York City police officers tell that nurse that I'm not sure is human, and I'm not kidding you, that nurse, no, they didn't kidnap the girl. The girl was put in a psych hold because of some spiritual stuff that was going on with her, and she couldn't understand what it was. So she thought she was losing her mind. So they put her in a psych hold to protect her. But while she was in, I'm answering Mariko's question. While she was in the psych hold, she started conversing with the people there and realized that they weren't all crazy. And that's when she started discovering they were kidnapping activists and dumping them in psychiatric units. Units are in the hospital, psychiatric institutions. And what they were doing was erasing them. You understand? They would erase them from their public profile, but they were alive in the psychiatric institutions. And I'm telling you the kind of people she encountered. Activists, they were the big ones. And hackers, anyone who was anti-government, anyone who was anti-pharmaceuticals or you anti-corporations, like you don't like how corporations operate. Yep. Like if you're anti, like, things like tea, right? If you're investigating things like tea, okay? That's what they were doing. Rounding them up, disappearing them, erasing them, all their records, everything, make it look like they disappeared, and dumping them into the psychiatric institutions. Yep. Crazy, right? No, she was in her 20s, but I don't want to go into too much detail about what happened to her. But let's just say, that too, but I'm not going to go into detail as to what happened to her. But that too. But that's what she discovered in these psychiatric institutions. That's what she discovered. Yep. Whenever. I have no idea. You know why? Let me tell you why. There are many people who are against the wickedness. Most of the people are complacent and compliant. And the people with the power are, the people with the power. People with the power to do something are fill in the blank. Jason, yes, people are heartless. Yes, that's why on this channel, I don't talk about certain things. I don't publicly talk. I will call them a lizard in a heartbeat. I will call them a snake. I will call them a chitahudi. I will call them a cosmic parasite. No, I told you the story of how they did it. I went to the hospital to see a neurologist because I was having pain on my left side because of the implants. Okay? When I went there, they kept me there all day until I saw two police officers. The next day, I saw two police officers and they did like this to the nurse that picked me up like a sack of potatoes. So I just thought, oh, it's just gang stalkers. So I ignore them. I didn't think they were literally like, and that's how the nurse, listen, I saw that nurse. Guy, I saw that nurse turn into, I don't even want to say it on camera. She went from human to non-human. I am not kidding. Take it how you interpret this, however you want. She went from human to non-human. And I was on that stretcher and she picked me up like the Incredible Hulk, like this. Like her whole face, her whole body, her face. I was just like, and I'm Caribbean. I wasn't expecting to see this in the United States. Like if it was the Caribbean and that happened, I'd have been like, it's the Caribbean. But I wasn't expecting to see this in the United. I was like, okay, Mariko, the classical sense of the word kidnap, that happened on 3 occasions. I made videos on that. You can look at these videos. Hold on, let me show you. I have videos on that, and you can look at my old videos. Whenever I have seen the video, the movie They Live. Yes, yes, and yes. Okay? Yes. Yep. Whenever this stuff is very, very real. Very real, my dear. Very real. Very real. Okay, so for Mariko, okay, this is a good video for you. Let me see if I can find it. I'm trying to look for the video. Sorry. Made a video. Okay. So the video you're looking for, Marika, I made a video documenting this. This is the title. But I have some more stories for you guys. Okay, so that's the title. Okay, I have some more stories for you guys. So when I was about, I think either 17 or 18, I was off to college, right? And in college, now my school at the time was Buffalo University. Hold on, let me close this out so you can see me. Okay, so my school at the time was University at Buffalo, not Buffalo University, University at Buffalo, UB. No, Mariko, you gotta type in Joe and then type in the exact title. Joe, because that's my my channel name. Okay, cool. And you can watch that video. And that should give you the backstory. Yep. No, write in the exact same title that I put in up there. 3 times. Write it the exact same way in the title. Okay, so when I was about 17 or 18, okay? Matter of fact, yeah, I should give you the first story. When I was about 15, I think. I was new to the United States. Okay, I was a little kid and I was so skinny when I was younger, okay? I was so tiny. You know, I was less than 90 pounds. I was so skinny. Okay? Hi, Feather. Hi, come join us. Come join us. We're having some fun. We're talking about, you know what? Everyone's going to join. We're talking about strange things. So this is what makes me wonder how far back this goes. So I was new to the United States. I was about 15 or 16. I was really young and really tiny. And I was going to school. Thanks, Feather. I was going to school in Manhattan. And I'm on the 2 train sitting in the corner. And I'm a tiny, tiny little twig. I was such a twig when I was young. I was so skinny and so small, you know. And this guy comes on the train, stands in front of me. Meanwhile, where I'm sitting, it's like you can't even see me the way those trains were designed, right? I was literally in the corner. And he starts caressing my face. This is a grown man now. I was maybe 15, 16 years old. And he was maybe like 30s, in his 40s or 30s. He looked like maybe 40s. And he starts caressing my face on the train. This is a packed 2 train. And I'm like, I freeze because I'm like, what the hell? And I'm saying to myself, what the hell is what? I was like, what kind of country is this? Where, grown men are going around caressing like young girls' faces in public. So finally, this wonderful Caucasian woman, I mean, God bless this woman. She sees what's going on. The train is packed, mind you. She sees what's going on and she goes, stop touching her! The guy turns around in a fit of rage and goes to lunge at the woman. And the woman says, I know her mother. And he goes, ah! And as soon as the train pulls into the next stop, he runs off the train. And the lady's like, are you okay? And I'm like, in shock. I was maybe 15, 16. This was on the train. And I was literally like, so she's like, it's okay, it's okay. Where are you going? And I told her, and she's like, I'll make sure you get there. And she helped me go to school. This is why I'll never be racist. Then another time, again, I was on my way to university. I was 17 years old. So sometimes these things make me wonder, how far does this thing really go back? You know what I'm saying? I was 17, 18 years old. I was really young and I was just starting college. And where my college was, it's about 800 plus miles from New York City to Buffalo, okay? Excuse me. New York City to Buffalo. And I used to take the bus, and the bus is like 8.5 hours. Oh my goodness. But the view is spectacular. It's amazing. It's so beautiful, but it's 8.5 long, boring hours. So we pull out of New York, Penn Station, and about 400 miles up, I'm on the right side of the bus, and I notice this car. And I'm like, this car is literally following us 400 miles from New York City, 400 miles going up to Buffalo. So we make a bus stop, regular, these stops, a rest stop. And I get out of the bus. This is the strangest thing, guys. So we get out of the bus. So we go to get food and stuff like that and use the rest stop, And this guy, he was a Caucasian guy, but he had the blondest hair. Okay, I gotta see if I find someone that looks like him. Hold on. Okay. That's what he looks like. Like really blonde. It wasn't dyed blonde. It wasn't like, nah, it's not this kind of blonde. It's like, nah, all these blondes are fake. Like a really blonde. Like this kind of blonde. Like I don't know, like a Hitler blonde. Like Nazi Germany blonde? Like that, I swear to God. It was like the most blonde, the blondest hair. Let me see if I can find like Hitler Germany blonde hair. Yeah, oh my God, that's it. That's the blonde. That's the blonde. That's it. You know how long I've been looking for this hair color? Do you know how long I've been looking for this hair color? Like that. Just like that. I think so, Mariko. I really agree. I really believe it. Yeah. I really. You can't see the color? Really? Oh, wait. Hold on. Sorry. I forgot to share the screen. Sorry. Sorry about that. Okay. like that. Can you see it now? That kind of blonde. And I remember exactly what he was wearing. I was maybe 17 or 18. Okay, 17, maybe 18. And someone with this hair color, I've never seen this kind of blonde. Like, I've seen blonde women, right? Like natural blonde and like Swedish blonde. That's probably the kind of blonde I'm looking for. Natural blonde and dyed blonde. But it was this kind of blonde that I've, to this day, I can't figure out what kind of blonde hair is this. It was so blonde. It wasn't white. It was so blonde. I was just like, oh my goodness. That is some bright hair, you know? And very, very fair. Let me see Swedish blonde. Let me see if I can find Swedish blonde. If I can find it. Kind of like this. Very, very pale features. Very blonde. Very light eyes. You know. And he gets out. Anyway, back to the story. It's a kind of blonde like this. Okay. He gets out of the car. I get out of the bus. Okay. So I'm like, walking to the rest stop where they had food and stuff. And he gets out of the car. And I said to myself, because we pulled into the bus stop, and I go, that's strange. He's been following us all the way from New York. This is 400 miles, guys. This is 400 miles. So I'm like, okay, that's strange. He gets out of the same rest stop. Wasn't he following? He was on the right side of the bus. Okay, I was sitting on the right side of the bus. He was driving on the right side of the bus. Okay, so I'm like, okay. So we get out and he walks up to me and I'm just looking at him like, this is the blondest human being I've ever seen in my life. And he asked me my name. So I told him my name and I was like, okay, hi, you know. He tells me his name, which I can't remember. I remember exactly what he was wearing. He was wearing Lee's jeans, L-E-E. You know those jeans, not Levi's, Lee's. Remember those jeans? Lee's denims. Does anyone remember Lee denims? Okay, before all these fancy denims came out, Lee's. Does anyone remember Lee's? He was wearing Lee's jeans and he was wearing this kind of plaid shirt. And I was just like, this human being, is he human? Why is he so blonde? He asked me my name and I told him my name and I said, hi, He said, where are you off to? And I said, I'm going to school. And he gave me his number and he told me, please give me a call. And I'm like, this guy followed the bus for 400 miles. This is strange. Anyway, so I took his number. I don't remember what happened to it. And he was like, very nice to meet you. He said, I think you're very pretty. I'm like, how the hell did he see me from a bus? And if you know Penn Station, there aren't any cars in Penn Station. You get on a bus in Penn Station and the bus pulls out. There are no cars there. Nordics. Mariko, you get it. You get where I'm going with this. You get it. He wasn't albino. It wasn't white. It wasn't white here. It was blonde. Okay? Mariko, you get exactly where I'm going with this. Okay? And after that, do you know what's funny? I remember calling him. and never getting a response on the phone. That's what I'm thinking. Feather, you got it. You got it. Like this. Just like this. You got it. You guys are getting it. But she doesn't have the right color. She still has like undertones. You know, she has like the peach. She has a lot of peach and pink undertones. Okay. But the hair color, the clear, like she has too much. You can see too much blood in her. Like she wasn't, no, way lighter than her. Like, I can't describe this person. Can't describe this person. Now that's makeup. Ah, she still has peach undertones. Nope, pink undertones. Nope. You understand? That's what gave me their number when I was about 17 or 18. Told me call them. Called. I remember calling once and not getting a response. Then it gets better. So after that, about a couple years later, I decided to go to school in England. Okay? Whenever you know exactly what I think I encountered. Okay? You know exactly what I encountered. So then I decided to go to school in England. My first day in orientation. Okay? In walks this so-called human being. 6'3", German, and drop dead gorgeous. Orientation was about 500 to about 1,000 international students from all over the planet. I was sitting next to some African girls, and I said to myself, when I saw him walk in the door, I said, oh my goodness, this man is gorgeous. I mean, oh my God, I can't even describe this person in words. He was just unbelievable, like took your breath away. So beautiful. And I said, I would never date a guy like that. Oh my God, he's too gorgeous. The guy walks into the room. This is an orientation with about 500 to about 1,000 people. He looks around the room and sees someone and decides to walk up the steps. Now, this guy was so gorgeous. The women, the facilitators in the room, when they saw him, they literally started passing out because he was that gorgeous. Matt, listen. I gotta wonder sometimes about this program. I'm gonna write a word. I'm gonna write some words, okay? Mariko, see my comment at the bottom, okay? Some of this program, I think, leads in a direction that we don't want to go. Some of this program is human. Some of this program, it makes you wonder. He walks up the stairs. He walks up the stairs, looks at me, sits right next to me, and says, you are the person I was looking for. This was my first day in England. Yep. This was my first day in England. My first day, I went Trinidad, the Caribbean, United States. And this was my first time ever traveling anywhere. And this is where I encountered what I encountered. Okay. Genes, ME, genetics. Genetics. Genetics, genetics, genetics. Okay. No, you're not off track, ME. It's okay. You're not off track at all. Genetics. Let me tell you, back to the UN. Back to the UN. Now, the German guy I encountered in England, my first day in orientation, was the year 1999. I was 19. The UN is 2010. Okay, Winifred, that's cool. Yep, exactly, Feather, exactly. Let me tell you. So I go to orientation. This is the UN. This is 2010, okay? The German guy was 1999. Mariko, have I got some stories for you? So I go to orientation, my first day at the UN. So, they have, okay, Renetta, we're throwing you a celebratory party to welcome you working at the UN. I'm like, okay, yeah, should I show up? And I'm just like, okay, this place is really weird. I was like, why do I feel you guys like I went to the UN and I was like, why do I feel like I'm being monitored? ME, exactly. Exactly. Sorry, I'm joking. I'm like, why do I feel like I'm being monitored? Okay, I'm going to turn it back on so you guys can see my face. Okay, hold on. Okay, so I'm like, I go to the UN and I'm like, why do I feel like I'm being monitored? Because when you feel like people give off an energy and you're just like, something's not right here. So this guy, he comes up to me. He's like, hi, welcome to the UN. This was before I got hit with the space weapons. My life is so crazy. I can't on this planet. Okay. So this German again, he goes, so, welcome to the UN. Never met the guy a day in my life. He goes, who are your parents? I go, well, my family, they're not involved in the UN. They're not involved in politics. I said, they're police. He goes, okay, if you say so. He goes, who's your family? And I go, huh? Why are you asking me this question? He laughs at me and leaves. That was my first day on the job. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. A siren. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Yep. Yep. He said, who's your family? I go, they're not politicians. Because I was thinking you meant who's your family, meaning, the UN. They're very bloodline. They're very you know how they are. They're very, very bloodline and where you from and blah, 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 blah. Let me finish giving you the UN story. So anyway, he laughs at me because I was like, oh no, my family, they're not involved in politics, they're nobody important. He looks at me and he says, huh, if you say so, and left. I'm standing there like, then the next day I get blasted with space weapons. I kid you. This was my unit. Oh, I forgot to mention. I forgot to mention. So the day of when I was blasted with the space weapons, I'm walking to work. And I noticed that the guy in front of me is acting like a bodyguard. And you know how you look at like Secret Service, they don't act human. And they're very like I swear to God, what the hell did I do on this planet? You know how Secret Service act, they don't act human. They act very like remote, and they always like they have eyes in the back of their head. So I'm going to work at the UN. And I look and I see this man walking in front of me, and I'm like, did someone send me bodyguards? Like, for what? I kid you not. And then by the evening, that's when they hit me with the space weapons. Yeah, I told you what they felt like. It was like I can't even describe this stuff. It wasn't like DEWs. I don't know what this, it's like something was here, like under your diaphragm. Like, okay, diaphragm is here, like above your diaphragm. And it was pulling like energy out from right above your diaphragm. Your diaphragm is here, right up here. And it was pulling energy out and like spinning it like that, like a whirlwind. And I literally feel like energy was coming out of me. And I'm like literally on the UN compound, standing there like this, like what the? While these two men come walking towards me, these two tiny. And I'm like, can these men get any shorter? And they were like so short. I'm like, these are some really short, powerful men. Because they were so short. And I'm like, why are they so short? But they had this tremendous power. That was the UN. To this day, I still don't understand. So I go to the UN, and they had the party, and this Germans again. You know how Germans love their information. German guy says to me, who's your family? I go, oh, they're not into politics. He goes, if you say so, and leaves. Then it gets better. So months before I go to the UN, I'm walking in Central Park, right? Now, Central Park is about 6-point-something miles. I look in front of me, and there is no one in front of me. When I tell you no one, I mean no one, okay? I'm not walking on the track where there's people. I'm walking in the grass where there's no one in front of me. So I decided I'm looking up at the trees because Central Park is really beautiful, you know? So I'm looking up at the trees like that. This is months before I start working at the UN. So I'm looking up at the trees and walking. All of a sudden, I feel someone go, pow! And I'm like, and I look up and I see these huge black guys. Huge! I'm like, and I turn around in a fit of rage because I was going to give them a piece of my mind. I was like, how dare you touch me? Because he literally pushed me like right here and pushed me out of the way. And I turn around to give him a piece of my mind, right? And something said to me, shh, don't speak. So I go, look, and I see these about 4 or 5 huge, when I tell you huge, I mean huge, black guys, surrounding this tiny little white man. And I said, he looks like someone important. Oh well. After working at the UN, I was watching the news one day, right after I left the UN, and I saw that they had someone on one of these news channels, and they were talking about Syria and the war in Syria. Do you know who I bumped into out of thin air? Listen, I was walking on the grass and there was no one there in front of me. And I looked up and I took about 3 steps and I felt someone push me out of the way. And I saw these huge men that was not there before surrounding this tiny little white guy. Does anyone want to take a guess who the black men were protecting? Take a guess. Does anyone want to take a guess? They were discussing Syria on the news. Henry Kissinger. Henry Kissinger. This was, I went to work, I got accepted to work at the UN in, I think, September. And I bumped into him August. So August, September, it was either July or August. And then September, I received a phone call, come to work at the UN, out of thin air. Listen to me. I was looking and there was no one in front of me. When I was walking on the grass, it wasn't a great lawn, it was in the middle of nowhere. No one walks on this grass, okay? And I was like, do, 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 and felt boom. And I was just like, what? And I turned in a fit of rage to tell off these black guys. And something said to me, zip it, shh, look. It's like, oh, it must have been someone important. These giant black guys and this tiny, Henry Kissinger. Yeah, I did apply. He is tiny, like tiny guys. But the guys who were around him were like giants. If you know what I mean. July, September that happened. September, I received a phone call. Come to work at the UN. Mariko, bingo. Oh, I have many more stories, but not tonight. Many more stories. Okay? Of just weird shit. Let me tell you what happened to me in Prospect Park. I believe you, Feather. I know. You're not lying. You're not lying. You are not lying. And some of them are guardians. I mean, not Henry Kissinger, but some of them are guardians. I'll tell you what I think, okay, about, I bumped into Kofi Annan before I started working at the UN, bumped into Henry Kissinger, bumped into Kennedy, and I was just like, why am I bumping into these people? Is there something going on that I don't know about? And it's not like, thank you, Winifred, thank you. And it's not like I was trying to like be where these people, it's just bump into them. And I was just like, why am I bumping into these people? And they all had this look on their face, like they knew me. Let me tell you what happened to me when I worked at the UN. Mariko, there is no such thing as encryption. So if you're going to send me a message, just send me the message, girl. There's no such thing as encryption. You got to get over that fear of whatever. You know, you got to get over that. There's no such thing as encryption. Did you see what I said to you earlier in this video? There's no such thing. So let me tell you what happened to me at the UN. So when I started working there, right, I had no clue, but I was just like, why do I feel like I'm being monitored? You know that feeling, just like, long before I woke up to any of this. I just felt like eyes were like, God, my life is so crazy. It does feel, you know that feeling when you know that. Anyway, so I had this boss, and I thought my boss was really cool, you know? So he says to me one day, oh, I was given an order for you to work up here. I'm like, why? And he's like, do you know where you're working? And I'm like, no, because I had no clue, you know? He was like, well, I was told by upper management that you should be placed up here. I'm like, why? So then there was a kind of schism with my boss, but I couldn't understand it. So I said to my boss, I said, look, I said, then because he made a comment to me, he said, you know, he said, well, I've been working here all these years and I've never gotten this treatment. I said, listen, don't be angry at me. I don't know what is going on. You understand? I said, if I knew what was going on, I could tell you, like, okay, you know, I said, I wouldn't do that to you. I don't know what's going on. So he kind of like sympathized with me because he realized, he's like, this girl is in over her head. She doesn't have a clue who's watching her. Okay? No, I'm just, listen, it doesn't, trust me, you don't want this kind of attention. Jason, really, you don't. You don't. Believe me, you don't. Okay? You don't. Okay? See my post. So anyway, so he says, yeah, I was told, you know, put you up here. So then when I was working up there, all of a sudden, all the people started coming around me like, do you know where you're working? So-and-so is in there, and so-and-so is in there, and so-and-so is in there. I'm like, why are they telling me this? So then one day, bingo. So then this is why, my dear, do not, I'll talk about that later, about power and, you know, seeking loving power and money and all that stuff. So one day, one of my co-workers came in. Every day she would tell me, you know, there's a tunnel, right? Listen to this carefully, guys. She goes, you know, there's a tunnel, right, that connects this building to that white building. You need to work in that white building. So I'm like, why is this woman telling me every single day work in this white building? Every day. Next day, you know, there's a tunnel between this building and that white building. You should go down into the tunnel and go to that building. I'm like, The next day, you know, there's a tunnel between this building and that building, right? You should go to the tunnel. I'm like, why is this woman always trying to get me to go down into that tunnel? Some tunnel that connects, I guess they have underground tunnels that connects all the buildings. So when it snows above, they don't have to walk above ground. They could just use the tunnels to get to the buildings, right? So she goes, yeah, you should go to the white building. Because the library is here, the white building is here. So like 800 meters apart. You should go to that white building. It's a tunnel. Go downstairs in the tunnel. So one day, my stupid ass, are you guys following? Oh. So one day, I decide to take her advice. I'm like, what's this tunnel she's always talking about? I'm like, what's this tunnel? She's always telling me. I'm like, what's this tunnel she's always telling me about? She's always telling me go down into the basement in the tunnel and go into the tunnel, going every day, go into the tunnel, go into the tunnel. I'm like, why does this woman keep on? I did. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. I'm like, what the hell is this tunnel? I'm going to go down into the basement and I'm going to go find this tunnel. So I decided, so there's a main floor that you come in on. And I decided, I'm not going to get off on the main floor. I'm going to go down into the tunnel. Let me tell you something. I could have sworn I went to the core of the earth. I kept going down and down and down and down, and it never ended. And down and down and down, and the deeper I got, the quieter it got. The doors didn't open. Okay. I went down and there was no sound. Okay. I was just like, I must have went down like 5 levels and there was more. And there was no sound. And then when I tried to open the doors didn't open. Probably because I didn't have clearance. The doors didn't open. I'm like, what the hell tunnel is she talking about? Because she told me. She kept telling me, go down into the tunnel. There's a tunnel that connects the library to the you know what's funny? Because I work in a place now called the library. That's funny. You know, that's really, I never thought of that. Guys, oh my God. When I was at the UN, right? The building I worked in was called the library. Do you know where I work today is called the library? Oh my God. I gotta write that down. Guys, I just had a revelation. In 2010, when I worked at, oh my God, this means something. In 2010, when I worked at the UN, I worked in the library. Today, I work in the library. Library! Anyway, I just realized that. Oh my God, that's so synchronicity. That's like synchronicity. Like, that is so unusual. Anyway, back to the crazy story. I just had an epiphany. Sorry. Synchronicity. Anyway, so because she was nagging me every day, this woman nagged me every single day and kept telling me go down into the library. I was like, you know what, this goddamn woman, I'm going downstairs in the library. I mean, tunnel, not library, tunnel. Every day she was like, there's a tunnel that connects this building to the white building. You need to work in the white building. Go into the tunnel. Go into the tunnel. She kept telling me, go into the tunnel. Finally, I was like, this goddamn woman, what tunnel? You know, because there's a tunnel that connects the building, like I said. So I was like, that's it. I'm gonna find this tunnel. Listen, I went downstairs. All I know is this is the main level that you enter in. I went down 1 flight. Okay, there was some noise. You could open some doors. Then I went down 2 flights. And I was like, what is she talking about? Doors didn't open because I probably didn't have clearance. Doors didn't open. Went down 3 flights. Not you couldn't hear a damn thing. It was so quiet. I was just like, creepy as hell. Okay. finally, I got so scared. I don't know how many levels I went down deep. Okay, I just kept going. I was like, does it? Because part of me was just kind of like, does this thing end? Because I kept going down, down, down. It didn't end. Okay, they're glitching my videos, which is a signal for me to code up. So, okay, so let's code up. Okay, so tunnels equal baby T, baby T, baby T. Okay, capital T equals, right? Right. Let's code up. So I kept going down, 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 down. None of the doors were opened, obviously because I didn't have you probably need clearance to get there. Never found the damn tunnel. Never found the tunnel to go that connects the building because none of the doors would open. Man, I ran back up that stairs so fast. Okay, hi guys. All right, so by the time you guys get back, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shut this down and I'm gonna be back up in about 5-10 minutes, okay? I'm gonna shut this down and be back up. Okay? So join me back in like